Is Dame making excuses for his recent struggles, or is the struggle just that real as an NBA hooper?
I mean, I said it last time we talked about it, when people were like, should he be concerned about Dame? And I was like, I mean, he got a lot going on outside of those lines, personally. So for him to come out and say that, I mean, I think that's good because, like, athletes are still people. They're still humans. Like, I know sometimes fans and media members forget that. So I think it was good for him to come out and say that. It's not easy.
It's easy to forget because there's nothing in a fan's life or media's life that has anything to uproot them, right? You know, the only thing they got to do is go to Atlanta and do a show for a day and they get to come back home. You know, they get to do that. Like even a divorce, right? Wherever you work, your place, you're there. When you're talking about someone who built his life in Portland, outside of Oakland, Portland, they said he moved 50 people with him. Family, kids, like he has his structure of go home, kiss the kids. Like, there's a routine that keeps him balanced. So when he leaves, and now all of it is left, his whole identity is left, right? He's back into his college day mentally, where he hasn't been there for damn near 15 years. It changes, you know, the home-cooked meal, the late night talks, the study and the playing with the kids, the relaxation, right? So now most of your life, you know, most of your day is, you know, what is the kids doing? I mean, you know what I mean? So it would put a lot of stress. I can understand now that because of mentally I went through the gun thing, right? Which threw everything off mentally for me. Right, waking up, not understanding that, you know, life has changed, I'm not who I am, the media don't like me, this don't like me, I'm throwing up every morning, not knowing why I'm throwing up every morning. It was a different adjustment for me. I didn't have the same mentality I had when I was in Washington, right? And you don't know it until you go through it, right? So I understand where Dame is mentally because I had a taste of it. Now, if I'd never had a taste of it, I'm like, oh, no, he's just making an excuse. Man, this is nothing. It's just like being on the road now. You know, just like being on the road. But when being on the road, you can FaceTime your kids. Right? You can FaceTime. When you're going through the divorce, there ain't no goddamn FaceTime. Huh? Hey, let me see my kids. Shut up. Where the money at? Click. Like, that's a whole different... That's a whole... You out there going to the game. You
had a nice moment.
No, you going to the game, you getting served. Think about it. I'm walking...
So close.
I'm walking off TNT, y'all. Listen, TNT, I'm walking on ESPN. I got served child support papers at halftime.
That's crazy.
Think about that.
That's crazy.
Hey, can I get an autograph? Yeah. Boom. You have been served.
That's smart.
What?
Oh, Mario.
Damn. You sit there. Hey, coach, second half, hey, Gil, like, dog, my whole face is, what? What you talking about? Gil, chill out, dog. Like, sir, it had on TV. Did they see this on TV?
Dave is not playing terrible either.
By Dame standards,
what's odd? Like,
yeah, that's what I said.
By Dame standards, not to act like he's just a bum now or anything like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's starting in the All-Star game. He's done well.
Right.
But just figuring that out, and people will point and say, well, hey, you asked for the trade, you asked for this, and that's fine, but you don't know what the situation is going to be like till you get there. Then you start having to deal with it. And Milwaukee, a nice city.
But that's not where you wanted to be.
I mean, you know, this is probably more just like the stability of his household.
Yeah.
More than the city. I mean, he's fucking Portland. You know, I don't give a shit.
Nice city, Gilbert.
You know, I ain't in Portland, but you get to sit in the house with your...
a nice place.
You get to sit in the house with your family base versus you sitting in the house by yourself now.
They used to pump the gas for you there. We really frown upon you doing it yourself.
You know, I mean, it's like mechanics, right? You know, if you used to all your works with you, right? You know, your work's helping you do this, skiing, playing, massaging your legs and all that, and then now all the work is gone. You sitting there like, yo, hey, y'all messing up my rotation. Get on over here.
But there's always a solution.
And what is the solution?
Ling do just magical things. I need all the work. I just need one simple service. You know what I'm saying? Mental health is a real thing. I get it. But I come from an era of mental toughness being the hard hat.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So when you say, is it an excuse? Should there be an excuse? Do we all go through things that are out of our control, in our control, all of these different things, right? So Klay Thompson, did he have an excuse? I don't think he had no excuse.
Who?
We're gonna talk about
No, you got one now.
I mean, just the fact that he may be going through something we don't know about. You know, Kobe, when he had the situation, had to go through that. We seen it. He didn't say that there was an excuse. I'm going through this with my wife and show up, let's show out, let's do what we got to do. I mean, even for myself, when I was in college, 2005, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. Nobody knew it. It was the Duke game when I found out. Immediately, it formed an intestinal disorder for me, and I was out 4 games. None of my teammates visited. Nobody asked if I was okay. My mom came from remission to come take care of me. So the things that I was going through personally, I couldn't let bother what we were trying to accomplish. So when I got back on the court, it wasn't about an excuse. It was about, I came here to finish the job. So for whoever's going through anything, the one thing I learned when I got to the league is this is a man's league. This is a man's league. And it, to me, has stopped becoming that because everyone's starting to use this mental health thing as the excuse to why things are not getting done. Because if things can get done, we wouldn't even hear a quote. We wouldn't say, well, I'm not performing because. It's like at the end of the day, you're getting paid $250 million and you should be performing regardless of what you're going through. But is it unfair? Could be, because emotions do matter. Family does matter. But at the end of the day, we're here to play the game, right? So I just come from a different cloth that whatever you're going through, if you can't play, don't play. If it's bothering you to the point that you need to step away from the game, step away from the game. Because we would understand that if it was that severe. If not, let's fight through that shit. Let's get in the gym and stay in the gym, just like Gil said when he missed those free throws. Man, I was in the gym every fucking day for 7 hours trying to get this shit, make sure I'd never miss a free throw again. If you're in a slump, you know you got to shoot to get out of it.
But, I mean, even just looking at Dame, I appreciate him for at least being candid and open at this stage of his career and just talking about the situation you guys deal with as hoopers. When you're young, you don't have a lot of shit going on, right? I mean, obviously you always will in life, but as you get older in life, responsibility, kids, family, all that other stuff, that's still just as meaningful to you as the game. But how much do off-court issues impact off-court performance? Like you said, you found out your mom got diagnosed.
But if nobody knows, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Right? So let's keep it that way.
Yeah, but I think we've always been trained to, like, whatever's going on in our life, like, that's our personal shit. I'm not telling
It's
nobody.
like as a man, you say, don't cry. And don't cry. Like, if whatever it is, bro, suck it up because we can use that against you.
Yeah.
Now that we have ammunition to say he has a weak point, we can see it. He's going through something, so he's not all the way there. We can see that. So now that it's public, it's like it's obvious that he has just identified something more is going on in his life that is bothering him. So that becomes ammunition for a guy like me. I don't give a fuck. Oh, I'm definitely at you now, especially every matchup. It's like, oh, you're at a weak point. There is no empathy, sympathy for me at that point, maybe off the court. If I'm your mans, I'm gonna call you and be like, yo, let's go get some lunch. Let's talk about this shit. But look, when I'm on the floor against you, you just showed me that you can cry.
I mean, you know, you're right. You're right. Like, we're gonna use whatever you're going through against you, right? That's the point of, you know, mental health, right? Mental health is a real thing. We all go through it. But for the most part, the Lions are never gonna show you their weakness because the other Lions don't give a fuck. Right? I don't give a shit what you're going through. Hey, I couldn't beat you for the last 5 years, and you got a weak point now, I'm getting my get back.
All of a sudden?
I'm getting my get back, and that's how we think, right? Like, but if we go to everyone's schedule and look at a down point in their life, we're looking at Klay Thompson right now in real time. When he retires, and then he comes up and says, oh, I was going through a real tough time. And he don't give us no date and say, yeah, this girl, this. We can all say, I know what year this was. And then you can go because his play matches it mentally, right? When we say, hey, LeBron James what happened to you in the finals and you played bad. Everybody can say you played bad. No one's gonna ever say, well, do y'all know what the media was doing? The media was saying his wife was sleeping with this player and put this bullshit out. Mentally, won't you think about what that'll do to you?
Yep.
My wife, what? You reading in the paper. Now you got to sit there and ask questions. You got to call this dude. Is this real? You're not going to say, you're going to look at the stats and use the stats against him, but you're not going to use the media tactic that would happen.
Right.
You're not going to use the media tactic. Oh, he couldn't beat the Boston Celtics. Well, how about look at the article that came out during that whole series too? Oh, your teammate is sleeping with this. What are you mentally trying to do? Like, you're not going to think that's going to affect the person and make him think about that.
And you guys see all of that, right? I think.
Yeah, we see it in real time. Like we know, we sit here and watch it. We can sit there and try to play tough and this and this, but it's the problem with it is when you're trying to deal with, when you're trying to get under someone's skin, like Carmelo. Yeah. No matter how tough Carmelo is, you say something that makes him second guess life.
Yes.
You get a different reaction.
Yeah.
Fuck the game. Like, what's up with this? Is this real? Like, it makes you think you're targeting something that it's a real feeling.
Then you say, like the LeBron point, that's what beat you.
Yeah.
That's what, they didn't beat you.
No.
You beat you. You let that thing dominate your mind and take your mind off the goal. So if you can allow that to happen, we know you're not as Superman as we thought.
But no one's Superman.
Exactly.
Like, you know, Michael Jordan and his father. Exactly. I'm pretty sure if he was playing in real time when that happened, that would have affected his game.
Yep.
It's a real thing, right? I mean, you know, some people are, we can pretend to, like, shut it off and we're hurting inside. Some people can say, all right, I'm going to, like Kobe, I'm going to use whatever I'm going on the outside and perform on. That's a whole different breed of a dude. Right? You know, that's rare. He's rarity where he can turn his pain and use the pain part onto this court and use whatever his frustration is to take it out on his opponent. But there's a difference when the person that I'm caring for that has my back is being questioned. That is a whole different thing.
Absolutely.
Parents is a whole different thing. Kids is a whole different thing.
Yep.
It's just hard. And, you know, sometimes that we can try to hold it in, you know, like the Andrew Wiggins, right? He's missing games and they're talking about, oh, it's your fault. Think about the shit that's going on. Those two kids ain't yours.
Ain't yours.
That's ridiculous.
Now, but think about the story. He is dealing with his father's situation, right? His father's situation. Now he wakes up and reads those two kids might not be yours. What do you think runs through his brain at that time?
I look right at my, what?
I had to, you know, you sitting there like,
babe, what?
Yeah.
Like, now you making him second guess his, like, the reason he's suspended is, missing is because of this, right? You know, up in Hart's father. Now you throw this in, now he has to look and Google and I got to check my kid's blood to see if this is a real thing.
But at what point do you have to step in to advocate for yourself so stuff like that does not happen?
But can you do that?
Yes, because you want to be a private person, I think that's why when Dame is coming out saying these things, everyone's kind of like, oh shit, because Dame is a relatively private person when it comes to stuff like this. But when you allow people to sit and just make, it happened to me when I was really sick. They was saying all types of weird shit about me not being around the team and being not at games and practices and stuff. And I'm a private person, so I kind of just let that sit. And I wouldn't change that approach at all. But you got to be a mentally fit person.
That's what I'm saying. It's the resilience.
Yeah.
The perseverance and understanding that I know me well enough to know I can get through this.
Yeah.
And if I cannot, I'm not going to put myself in danger and people around me in danger. So I'm going to step back and say, look, this is a little bit too much. I'm overwhelmed with the fact that I miss my kids. I'm going through something that I didn't think I would ever go through, which is a divorce. And if he's a real religious guy and he's like, death do us part, these are real vows these are things that do wear on you. So you have to take a step back and think about it, but you have a contract, just like that vow, right? So you can break your contract, just like the vows were broken. Or you can step in and say, you know what, I'm not gonna let this break me. because this is trying to break me, and I'm not gonna let my kids see me broken. They're gonna see Daddy is a superhero. Daddy is the guy that's gonna come through for them with a smile on his face every time. I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do, and if that's win a championship to get my family back, let's take that approach.
It's just altering perception of, you know, how you can just mentally manage it. You know, but you know, for the most part, you know, we're used to doing things a certain way, and we have our, what do we call it? Superstition.
Yep.
Right. Superstition might be my kids, kiss my kids, go to bed.
Yes.
You know, so when you take away my superstition, now I'm vulnerable to,
Yeah.
you know,